Welcome to the Transparent FX Academy. I'm Nick and I'm a top author on TradingView with over 190k reputation points. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. This is the place to be for high quality free trading education. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight onto the charts. In this video, I will be speaking about USDCAD. Now, as usual, to keep the video as educational as possible, first I will be covering the technical aspect for this market. Then we will be moving to the order flow by looking at the commitment of traders, so the COT data, which is what the non-commercials, so the biggest speculators in the market are doing, which are essentially hedge funds, so the big players in the market. And by the end of the video, by using the combination of these two different types of analysis, we will try to understand where we have the highest probabilities for the next potential move here for this pair. Now, starting from the monthly time frame, what we can see is that we have a market which at the moment is testing a quite strong level of previous monthly resistance, which is now turned support. In fact, from here, multiple rejections to the downside were created. The market has now broken back above this level. So all this previous resistance is now turned support here. And as the market is testing this previous resistance turned support, we could expect more bullish continuation to be created away from this area. So on the monthly, everything looks quite bullish. Dropping down on the weekly time frame, what do we see? Well, here on the weekly, the structure as well is very simple to identify. In fact, we can notice how from this zone, all these previous rejections to the downside were created, confirming this zone as quite strong supply and resistance. Then the market broke above this level with this impulse to the upside. So all this previous resistance was turned support because, as we know, in the market, previous resistance, once it gets broken to the upside, becomes support. Now, zooming in on this area and simplifying our chart to have it as clear as possible, so essentially putting that zone here, what we can also notice is that from a pattern standpoint, we actually have an impulse to the upside followed by a correction. Now, what we can do is, since we have an impulse and correction, if we want to measure the correction, we have to take our Fibonacci from the low to the high of the impulse leg. And if we do that, we can see that the area that the market is currently testing is exactly the zone in between the 0.618 and 0.786 of the Fibonacci taken on this impulse leg, which is also lining up with this previous resistance turned support that we have previously identified. So this actually creates confluence of support at this area, which we could in fact expect this market to reject to the upside. So on the weekly time frame as well, everything looks quite bullish. Now, dropping down on the daily time frame, what do we see? Well, from a daily standpoint, I did speak about USDCAD quite a few times in the past. I spoke about it when the market was here. I explained all the reasons for which we could expect this rejection to the upside. And in fact, that is exactly what the market gave us. Then after this impulse, I made another breakdown explaining all the reasons for which we could expect first this correction and then the continuation to the upside. And again, that is exactly what the market gave us. And after the creation of this M pattern from here, I explained all the reasons for which we could expect this rejection to the upside and completion at the neckline. And again, just a few days ago when the market was here, I explained all the reasons for which we could expect this rejection to the upside, completing the retest of this previous support and resistance. And again, that is what the market gave us. And by the way, I will link in description all these previous analysis so you can go and check them out for more free education. Now, at the moment, before we continue with our analysis from a technical perspective here on the daily time frame for USDCAD, let's first go and see what we have when it comes to the commitment of traders, so the COT data, so what hedge funds and the biggest institutions are doing, so how they're moving their orders. Now, what we can notice here immediately is that we had a massive decrease of the net positions. We went from minus 32.6k net positions all the way down to minus 67.7k net positions, with 10,100 shorts added with the last report and 8,200 longs getting closed. So clearly institutions are moving to the bearish side of the CAD. Now this makes USD CAD quite stronger because as institutions are shorting the CAD, USD CAD becomes stronger because every currency on the spot is traded against the USD. So as we're checking the data for the CAD, we're actually checking CAD USD. So institutions shorting aggressively CAD USD means essentially they are longing aggressively USD CAD and positioning themselves to the bullish side for USD CAD. So moving back to the technical side of this market and continuing with our analysis, the first very important structure level that we must identify is this one here. This, in fact, is the previous daily support, which is now turned resistance here. Until the market will remain below this resistance, this market can and will actually continue to the downside until it remains below this resistance, because essentially it means that we have a daily bearish structure since the market has created a lower low here below the previous low, and now it is trying to create a lower high, after which we could expect a lower low. But if we get this move to the downside, we wouldn't really have anything interesting because, as we have already seen, the monthly, weekly, and the CO2 data are all bullish, and the higher probabilities in the market are when all the time frames are showing the same direction. Now, the only way in which on USD-CAD all the time frames and the CO2 data would be showing the same direction is if and only if we get a break above this resistance. If the market breaks above this resistance on the retest of this previous resistance turns support at that point, we would have very good probabilities of seeing more institutional longing, because at that point also the daily time frame would be bullish, and that would definitely increase the probabilities of a potential rejection to the upside even further. So if we get this break on the retest, how we could be approaching this potential move higher? Now, as usual, trading is reactive and not predictive. The monthly, weekly, and daily time frames combined with the COT data, those are the best time frames from a directional perspective. However, when it comes to confirmations and entries, the best time frames are the intraday time frames, so 4 hour and lower. Therefore, what we could be doing potentially is monitoring price action from an intraday perspective during this move to the downside, waiting for the market to shift from an intraday bearish market as we would have to an intraday bullish market. And if the market would shift from an intraday bearish to bullish market and provide to us one of our valid entries, at that point we could be looking for a potential move higher for the market to complete this impulse correction and impulse pattern to the upside. Now, if you don't know what I'm speaking about when I say valid entries and these kind of things, you want to learn more, I really suggest that you go and check out the transparentfxtrading.com website. Here, you have the possibility to gain access to my entire courses with all the rules of the strategies. You also have the possibility to gain access to one-on-one private mentoring, the VIP market breakdowns with the Telegram signals, the COT data software, which is precisely the one that we used in this analysis, the trading station software, which puts together everything that you need as a trader all in one interface. And if you continue to scroll lower past the testimonials, you will see that you have the possibility to gain automatically access with the email and password that you will create during the checkout process. So I really suggest that you go and check it out as soon as possible at transparentfxtrading.com. The link is both in description and in my bio, and I will see you in it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and also let me know in the comments below any new pairs or topics that you would like me to cover in the next videos. And I will see you in my next breakdown.